We have big news. You listen.
It's not a joke anymore. It's not a joke.
Listen, we like to joke about. We like to speculate every once in a while, get the people riled up. But man, oh man, it happened. So, ladies and gentlemen, you asked. You said, could J.J. Watt come to Pittsburgh? Could J.J. Watt? How could that happen? We said the first thing that would have to happen is the Texans just release him. If they release him, it can happen. Indeed, our prayers have been answered. My man J.J. Watt was officially released. This would have been Friday. Yeah. And why is this significant? It's significant because now, we talk about our cap situation, and obviously we don't have the most robust cap number, in terms of having a lot of space. But with him being released, now he can sign for whatever he wants. And that goes both ways. If he wants to sign for a lot or a little, he has that flexibility. That's a major key in this puzzle in terms of if he were to join the Steelers, how it would work. That was the first step. Now from here, it's the courting period. And as we already seen, his little brother, TJ, well, he didn't waste any time.
Right off the bat.
He didn't waste any time. I was like, okay, TJ, let's go. So I like it though, man. I think that, this thing definitely has legs to it. Obviously, at this stage in JJ's career, it becomes, what do you want? Are you chasing a ring? Are you chasing another payday? Are you chasing that opportunity to play with both of your brothers in the NFL? Something that, rarely happens from a historical standpoint. I mean, you probably I think they'll be the only group of brothers that have played against each other all at the same time and played for the same team all at the same time if he were to join the Steelers, because obviously when we played the Texans earlier this year, all three of them were out there. So to me, man, I like it though. If he were to, be here in terms of how it would fit, I think that it could work. I know he's a 4-3 DN. He's played right and left DN, but he also has bumped inside to play D tackle. And when you think about how much sub package ball we play in Pittsburgh, and sub package ball is just when you think about your Mike Hilton on the field, your Cam Sutton on the field, they're both on the field a lot. So you can see how we could easily utilize a lineup. And this is just
some type of rotation
where it could literally be JJ on right and TJ on the left and Tuitt and Cam inside. Or you rotate JJ in the inside with Tuitt and Cam, or you rotate JJ on the outside with TJ and Alex Highsmith or whoever else you have over there opposite of TJ. So there is a lot of wiggle room in terms of, him fitting from a schematic standpoint, because I know that was a question that people have been asking because he's a 4-3 guy and we're obviously a 3-4
And that would definitely help with the Bud loss if we do lose him in free agency. I know.
Yeah.
It's probably not the same. I know JJ's not bad right now, though. It's not even he's out of his prime, like defensive player of the year, but he can still play. Losing Bud at this point in his career would definitely be a loss, but that would help if you get Highsmith making some type of sophomore jump, and then the talent we already have on the defensive line right now, that could make up for it. And it goes back to what you said. So, what do you want? Do you want to play with your brothers? Do you want the big payday? Do you want Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Him asking the Texans for a release. I don't think that points to big payday, because he would have got how much money this year just to stay with the Texans?
17.5. He would have got $17.5 million just to stay there. A ton of money to turn down, right?
Super Bowl and playing with your brothers.
Yeah.
I think we can answer both those things. So if however Ben restructures his contract, if we bring in J.J. Watt, we bring back Ben, and we could run it back for the most part, maybe without Juju and without Bud, I think we're Super Bowl contenders right there. So I think that checks both of those boxes, and which is probably even why J.J. Watt is to the Steelers is the Vegas odds favorite right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, obviously here in Pittsburgh, we say contender, and, Steelers fans, we look at it and we're like, absolutely. But people, outside of Pittsburgh may be skeptical of it. Man, they can't be contenders. They're not better than the Bucs, not better than the Chiefs. But this is the thing. We say contenders. In the NFL, there are a good amount of contenders. You don't have to necessarily win it to be a contender. Contender are the teams that are legit in the conversation to win the Super Bowl. We are in that conversation. So at least from that standpoint, we're contenders. And then obviously, I think that this would be big for JJ as well, because you talk about if you join a team like the Bucs right now, yeah, you could win it. But it's not going to be because JJ was the missing piece. You know, it's going to be more you just rode somebody's coattail. Same if you went to Kansas City.
It's getting out of hand with this shit, man. Adrian Peterson.
You see AB? I was about to say, yes, you saw it, right?
Adrian Peterson, all these people are like, I'm interested in the Bucks. Odell Beckham, I think, saying I'm interested in going to the Bucks. Give me a break,
come on, man. That's the new Golden State. Like, seriously, man. So to me, when I think of JJ, I'm like, JJ doesn't seem like the type that would want to join a already super team, or a team that already has that much talent, a team that's coming off of a Super Bowl, or if you're Kansas City, a team that has been to multiple Super Bowls and won one in the past, 3 years. I think if you're JJ, you're like, bro, why not do it here in Pittsburgh, where we definitely have the framework. Now, obviously, it's going to take a lot more work, but it's still, the structure is already there. You have the main pieces in place. It's more so picking, all right, O-line versus running back. Which one which one is more of a priority and things like that. But to me, I just think that JJ could feel a lot more substance and a lot more meaning to
we would need
here.
him. If we don't have Bud Dupree back, he would have a significant role.
No question. Whereas if he went to Green Bay, I don't see it as the same in Green Bay. I
three-man rotation, probably.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think him coming here, it makes perfect sense for him from just solidifying who he is as a player. Obviously, you already talked about, the brother connection. I like it, man. Do you like it, though? That's another thing, because, because I'm like, some people, they're skeptical on him, man.
Why?
Some people are skeptical. I don't know. I'm about to drop a film session on it. But yeah, I watch his, a couple of games on him.
Are you JJ Watt?
Oh yeah, it's already in the cook. Yeah. It's already in the gumbo pot. We just throwing a little seasoning on that thing. Yeah. She ready. She about to be ready though. But yeah, you watch him and it's like, no, this guy can still play. Now, like you said, he's not Defensive Player of the Year 3-time JJ Watt, but he is still highly effective. He is still very disruptive as well. And to me, I just think that in a defense like the Steelers, where it's so much talent already around him, he can flourish. Whereas in Houston, man, I'm not going to lie. It's times I was watching Houston, I'm just like, defensively, what are y'all in? Like, they were so undisciplined. Guys hopping in and out of gaps. I'm like, JJ, the fact that you were able to make the plays that you made in this hodgepodge defense, like, gosh, because it is bad. Like, the Texans, man, on defense, yeah. They got some work to do, baby.
What do you think his max number is for a 1-year deal right now, if he was to get the most that he can?
I think he could get around probably 10. Okay. I think 10, honestly. And this is why, because we know he is no longer the 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. 17.5 was paying 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's not that. The injury history, I think this was his first time since, let me see. I'm trying to see it in terms of him playing 16 games in a season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is I'm trying to think. So in 19, he played 8 games. 18, he played 16 games. But from there, it was 5 games, 3 games. And then obviously you go back to him being back to Defensive Player of the Year and stuff like that. So knowing the injury history, the age, the style of injuries as well. We're not talking an ankle. We're talking, major reconstructive surgeries and some of these standpoints. To me, I just don't think that his market is going to be more than 10, because what you're getting is an impactful. He's definitely a starter still, but you're not paying him dominant starter money, because I don't think that he can be that play in and play out. I mean, even when you watch him with the Texans, he still had his, his flaws in his game and stuff like that. But as a whole, I think in a more limited role, right, where we're talking here in Pittsburgh, he would be a part of a rotation potentially. I think he flourishes like that. But you don't pay more than $10 million if it's not the guy. You know what I mean? So that's why, to me, I think
$10 million a bad team, you think?
I think honestly a team like Buffalo could pay him 10, because obviously they have enough cap space and they do need another guy that could go opposite Jerry Hughes. And that's why I'm like, if we're talking solely going for contenders, well, Buffalo can make a case for it, right? Because obviously they were in the AFC Championship game. They have a young core, and he would be the same. What we're talking about him in Pittsburgh because of Bud leaving, it would be the same up there in Buffalo, because they don't have a edge rusher, outside of Jerry Hughes, because AJ Epinesa, the rookie, he just hadn't, progressed to that stage just yet. So you can see the different, avenues that JJ could go with it and where he could get compensated like that. But I think it's something about, just having that brother connection.
Yeah.
Something about being able to play with both of your brothers. Like, you know how rare that is?
Just for 1 year at least, just to try it out.
Dude, you owe it to yourself. You think these three dudes grew up playing ball together, competing against each other, competing with each other at every level. And now you get the opportunity to do it in the professional realm. I mean, dude, just for that standpoint alone, you take it, even if it's just the 1 year, right? If you don't want to, if you're JJ, you're like, hey, look, man, I don't really fit this defense, but I want to play with my brother. Take a 1 year deal, get compensated the way you want to get compensated, have the fun time of playing with your brother, competing for a championship. And then after that, you can go hit the market, do what you do. So it's still available. You have these options. But to me, I just don't think, he can turn down playing with his brother. And his little brothers. It's both of them. Like, come on, baby. Come. What better way to say I'm the real big brother? What better way to say I'm the best Watt in the family than you come to Pittsburgh and then we win the Super Bowl? You could be like, hey, we ain't winning with just TJ.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it without me. I came here, then we won it. You got the 3 Defense Player of the Year trophies. You could give TJ crap every day, motivate him every day. Come on, man. It makes perfect sense. That's all I'm saying.
Now, maybe this is dependent on the term, like the length of the deal, but would TJ take a little bit of a pay cut to make sure some extra money is in JJ Watt's pocket if he wants to sign here?
So that is definitely something that, a lot of people have thought of. And this started even last year when Derek Watt signed. Remember, it was like, okay, Derek is signing.
He might be the one taking the pay cut, but he's already on the books for 2 years.
Though. Yeah, but this was the thing. So Derek wasn't going to be the one taking the pay cut. We said the money that they gave Derek was coming out of TJ's money. I mean, because let's be real, they could have gave that exact same contract to who? They could have to Tyler Matakavich.
Just brought back Rosie.
Well, you said bring back Rosie. You already had that same contract that you gave to Derek Watt. Tyler Matakavich got that exact same deal to go to Buffalo. So you had the money. You had the player already there. But you paid more for this guy because what? The connection to TJ. So now you got this exact same opportunity with a guy like JJ. You're like, JJ, look, I need you here. And then you go, JJ talk to TJ. Hey, TJ, look, I want to come here, but I'm not playing for less than this. So, little bro, how much you want me to be there? Instead of 125, sign for 120. What's up? You know what I mean? Like, it could be that type of conversation. That's all I'm saying, man.
Does TJ hold off on the extension, or is that a guarantee this offseason?
I think that's got to happen this offseason. You're not going to have TJ. If TJ's smart, you want to go out there and play on a 5th-year option. Think about him. His 5th-year option, I would have to look, but based on where he was drafted at, was what, in that 10 to probably 12. Actually, I should be able to pull it up real quick.
He was in the teens.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. His 5th-year option isn't going to be.
Maybe even the 20s. It might have been. I think we drafted him late. That was after the AFC Championship with the Patriots, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so this was like 28, 29.
We're going to pull up this. We're going to get this 5th-year option, though.
So that'll.
So he was 30th overall pick.
Okay.
Yeah, 30th overall pick.
Wow. Yeah.
And his 5th-year option is supposed to be $10 million. Now, to put it in context, $10 million, we just talked about what $10 million is for, just a regular player at this stage for like a JJ Watt, right? TJ, he's worth way more than 10 mil. You feel me?
What does Myles Garrett have? Is he 20? Is he 20 a year?
I want to say Myles,
21,
he should
22?
Because he just signed his. Let me pull him up.
So we're thinking the range of high teens. High teens would probably be like a pay cut for TJ.
Yeah,
market values in the low 20s probably then.
So here we go. All right, for Myles, and it's weird the way the way they have the bonuses and stuff like that, but it's basically 20 a year. That's where he's at. So if you're TJ, based on your productivity, you can't take less than the 20 that Myles got, right? So that's kind of how I kind of look at it like that. I'm like, whatever, he got, and he was the new person to set it. Your numbers are better. You've been doing it longer at a higher level. Yeah, we need that money. Run it up. New highest paid defender in the NFL. That's what we're looking for.
You don't think he would take 16, 17, 18 for JJ coming here?
I personally don't. Not per year. Maybe if you could structure like that for the first year.
Okay.
But outside of that, why
13, 14 this year,
think
and
about
then
this.
It's like 21, 22
so
for the rest.
But this is what you have to ask yourself. If you're talking to TJ, you say, hey, TJ, I want you to take less money. Even though your brother already done seen $100 million in his career, how does that sound? Come on, man. You know, that man is going to be looking at you like, he's going to be like, man, no, he need to sign for that vet minimum. If that's the case, like, don't worry about my money. You sign for that vet minimum. Hey, based on the years, you can come here and play for $2 million.
Here, yeah.
Come play for $2 million. I'm going to get my money because you've already gotten paid. That's how I'm looking at it. Like seriously, man. Because and this is the thing too. And we've seen the scenarios now, right? We saw Bud get hurt contract year. We know that it's going to impact his market. Now, we don't know how much, but it will have an impact. Then, obviously, you had the extreme. Ryan Shazier, contract year, go down. So, if you're a TJ, you're not about to come out here and take, 5, 6, less than what you're supposed to get because of your brother who's already had a ton of money. Like, if it's Derek, I think it's different because Derek hadn't had a big payday like that. Whereas JJ has been the highest paid defender multiple times now. So that's to me, I'm like, hey, big bro, you done already had your money. You got to take the pay cut this time.
Okay.
That's how I look at it.
What's the number then? 2 or 3 million?
For him, yes, 2 million. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Anybody that's, I think it's 10 to 15. No, it's 10 to 17 years or something like that. All of those vet minimums are $2 million in that range.
Do you see us going any higher than that? 3 or 4?
I don't. But at the same time, I think JJ knows if he's coming here, he's not going to get paid more than that. It's one of those scenarios where the situation. It's no secret about the Steelers cap situation. Everyone knows they don't have a lot of cash. So for you to come here, that, hey, I'm not coming here to get market value. I'm not coming here to necessarily get extremely close to market value. But I'm coming here because, number one, I can play with my brothers. And number two, I get a chance to compete for a championship. To me, that's what you're selling to JJ. You're not selling him hey, man, we'll give you $5 million, baby. What's up? What's up? Because he just turned down 17.5. You know what I mean? So that's why for me, I'm just like, I don't approach JJ. If I'm the Steelers, I don't approach him with the numbers right away. I'm selling him on the other intangibles first. And then we get to the numbers at the end once you already fallen in love.
And that's one of the reasons I ask you about the market value being at 10 and if contenders will be paying that as opposed to it just being like the Jaguars or the Jets, because if contenders are willing to pay 10, that might make it a little bit tougher for us, because if it was just the bad teams paying 10 and then contenders
then it's easy,
maybe in the 6, 7 range, then that $2 million with us seems so much more attractive with the potential championship aspirations and playing with your brother. Right. But if it's 10 on a contender versus 2 Steelers brother, maybe it's a little bit more equal there.
Yeah,
it's just going to be what do you want.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think that's literally the decision that he's going to have to make, because he's good enough. His legacy is strong enough that he's going to command, that ballpark money. Not saying that he necessarily deserves it, but just off of who he is and, what he was able to do last year, he's going to get, that he could get that, at least if he wanted to hit the open market and really go to the highest bidder. But to me, I just don't think like you said, the money couldn't have been the driving force if you asked to be released when they were going to give you 17.5. Exactly. They didn't want to release you. You asked for them to. And out of respect for you, they granted it.
They could have traded you. You could have kept the money.
Absolutely. Easily. It's a lot of different ways that they could have went about that thing. So to me, I don't think that, the money is going to be that driving force. I think the brother element of it, that's the big thing, because you could make the whole case about the Steelers, but we could go down the list of, if he's not a Steelers fan, it doesn't matter, right? We feel like Steelers fans feel like this team is just the best since, sliced bread. And honestly, like, it's true. But outside of Steelers fans, not everybody feels like that. Or you got people that feel like that about Dallas, people that feel like that about Green Bay, San Fran. Like, we could go down the list. You got your Patriots fans and stuff like that. But to me, you can't overstate the sibling element of it. That love element of it, baby. That's all I'm saying, man. You got how, like I said, playing with your brothers. And they are a close group. They train together in the off seasons. TJ could take countless stories about them just being together, how they would work out as kids, competing against each other, him always chasing after him, trying to get to his status. you can't, like when you're that close, you don't get this many opportunities to play at the NFL level with a sibling, with a brother. And I just don't think that he's going to pass it up. I personally don't. I don't, man.
So what's the timeline? I guess what's free agencies in March then?
Yeah,
Can he sign now? Because he's released?
I mean, he could, but the problem is this. Everybody's waiting on Ben. You can't do any moves until you get that taken care of, because we already said it's 41. So until a movement is made of some type of restructure, release, whatever, that number is still at 41. So yeah, nothing can happen until that, what I mean? But obviously, with Pouncey retiring, that's going to open up. That's going to give you a little bit more flexibility. But the biggest thing is just waiting to see what the number is with Ben. Once we get that, then we'll know, okay, you might have $5 million to work with. Hey, JJ, come for 5. Might miss run have 7. We talked about that, right? We said with the whole Aaron Jones conversation, man, could potentially try to get him at that rate, right? We know that he got offered more in Green Bay, but sometimes, man, you turn that down, that could be just a bad decision. We've seen running backs make bad decisions before. We've seen it before. So to me, I'm like, man, depending on how we can make some moves, you can have a scenario where you get something. You can play a little bit. So we'll see.